Whatever we do, let's not get too much out of our brains so that we forget everything that we're supposed to learn. So, I'm on chapter 6. That's where I'm going. I'm not going there. I called Henry's bike shop just before I went out to wait for Robbie, but Mom's darn campies hadn't come in yet. I was glad I wasn't going to be hanging around the house all day alone worrying about them and other things. Robbie's a good person to be with if you don't want to worry. He and I walked along Lake Avenue in the sunshine, sampling the free this and the free that, free popcorn and little paper pokes, free candy canes, free cider from what the lady in the long frilly dress called the wassail bowl. You boys aren't driving, are you? The lady asked, acting as though she thought we might have been. When we told her no, she filled our glass a second time. I'm only kidding. There's no alcohol in this. She took a glass for herself. It's awfully hot for this dress. You look very nice, though, Robbie said, super politely. Robbie is real smooth. And I could tell the lady was pleased. Why, thank you, young man, she said, filling our glasses a third time. Why do you laugh?
Because,
come on.
Flattery.
Yeah.
Flattery gets you things.
Flattery gets you things, like an extra glass of cider. We moseyed on. There was a Santa Claus in front of just about every shop, and there were carolers and ski caps and scarves and mittens carrying lighted red candles and candlesticks. Hey, look, Robbie gave a dig. It's the Pacific High School chorus, the ones that sang it at our school. We squirmed to the front of the small crowd and wiggled our fingers at the chorus in a friendly way. They were finishing the last jolly line of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the one that tells how Rudolph will go down in history, and we were starting to straggle on to their next stop when Robbie tugged on the arm of one of the guys. He was wearing a red and white scarf, so long you could have used it to lasso horses. It was the singer with the mustache, the one who'd been in the front line of the chorus. Remember us? Robbie asked. You sang in our cafetorium. Yeah, sure. The guy stared at us blankly. Then he grinned and pointed at me with his mitten. You! I remember you. You were sitting next to the girl with the blonde hair. You know the one. Angelica Trotter, Robbie said. The guy, curled his tongue up around his mustache, I guess to see if it was still there. Angelica Trotter. Well, by the way, I'm Fred Garcia. Hi, Fred, Robbie said. I didn't say anything. You don't happen to have this Angelica Trotter's phone number? Fred was asking me, and I was staring at him as if I didn't understand English. He bent toward us, and candle wax splashed on the sidewalk. His forehead was beaded with sweat. Confidentially, I happened to notice that she had a very intriguing message printed on the spine of her notebook. I love somebody, Robbie said helpfully. Robbie is a very helpful person. Yeah, pity she didn't think to put her phone number on her notebook, too. I'd have asked for it, but this big hunk of a teacher was standing right there. You don't happen to know her number offhand yourselves, he asked. Marcus? Robbie turned to me, his eyes big and innocent. I felt like punching him out. I felt like punching them both out. I don't happen to know it, I said. And if I did happen to know it, I wouldn't happen to give it to just anybody on the street who asked for it. Quite right. Here, hold this. Fred shoved the dripping candle into my hand and bit off one of his mittens. He used it to wipe his forehead, then fished in his pocket and came up with an old envelope. Ooh, it's warm, he said, and began searching his pocket again. You need a pencil? Robbie offered him one shaped like a candy cane we'd just been given free at Tilton Hardware. Robbie is so helpful it makes me want to throw up. One of the carolers called, Come on, Fred! I'll be right with you. He wrote quickly and shoved the envelope at me. My phone number, he said. Why don't you ask Angelica to give me a call? He grabbed the candle and was gone, the end of his scarf trailing behind him. I stepped on it so fast it came off, and he had to turn back to scoop it up. He dropped his candle. By this time, half the chorus was yelling at him. Jerk, I said when he finally got everything together. I shoved the envelope with his phone number into one of the wire trash baskets that hung from the light pole. That guy's old enough to be Angelica's father. I think Angelica might like a mature guy like Fred, Robbie said, for her red and green Color Me Christmas lipstick. And he was walking backward in front of me, talking and grinning. How come you're not giving her Fred's phone number? That wasn't very nice of you throwing it away, Marcus. You know why you did it, don't you? You look really stupid walking backward, I told him coldly. I was ready to start a giant fight, but just then a lady with a tray offered us little crackers with cheese on them. The food calmed us down, and by the time we'd eaten our way to the corner of Lake and Cordova, we were okay again. The clock on the Bank of America building said 4:15. I'm going to be late for Mom, I told Robbie. I still have to go home and pick up the 2 wish tree packages to bring to the mall. Let's move. We walked fast along Cordova, finishing the crackers and cheese we'd stashed in our pockets. I like that wish tree thing you and your mom do, Robbie said. It's neat. We should start that in my family. I like it too. Robbie munched a handful of broken crackers. Why don't we bum a couple extra drinks? These things are dry. We have lemonade at home, I told him, but you have to be quick. As soon as we got to our house, I noticed that Nick's car wasn't there. Across the street, Patchen drowsed in the afternoon sun, and Miss Sarah was in her driveway next door washing her car. It's a big old black Buick shaped like a humpback whale, and she's all the time hosing it off and waxing it, although it doesn't go many places. On Sundays, its open trunk is filled with flowers that she and Miss Coriander take to their church. Then it's like some strange funeral car going slowly and solemnly down the street. Good afternoon, Miss Sarah, Robbie said. You're looking very well. Miss Sarah sniffed. Good afternoon, Robert. Marcus, you'd better hurry or you'll be late for your mother. She twisted the hose nozzle to spray so to be less noisy. The Rabbit Hutch in the mall has a special today. I saw it in the Star News. Turkey salad. I'd have thought they'd have turkey salad after Christmas, but it's not good to eat it then. You know they take the leftover turkey off people's plates and mince it up, but before Christmas it should be safe. Oh, well. I'll tell Mom and we can check it out. Thanks, Miss Sarah. Ugh, I thought. I can never understand how Miss Sarah knows everything that's going on. She's like one of those Greek oracles. I wondered if she knew about Nick's photograph of Mom. I wondered if she knew when it was taken. There was no way to ask. I took my key from my pocket, dusted the crumbs off it, and unlocked our door. The living room was empty and tidy, the tree lights off. The jigsaw puzzle was a blob of color on the coffee table beside the 2 wrapped wish tree gifts. Everything just the way I'd left it. What other way would it be? You want lemonade too, Robbie asked me, heading for the kitchen. I followed. Nah, I'm okay. In the kitchen, the wall clock lurched as it came to the half hour. It always lurches on the half and the whole. The faucet dripped gently into the morning cereal dish I'd left in the sink. The loaf of bread I'd taken from the freezer sat defrosting. I eased off my backpack and slid it on the table. What's that smell? Robbie had his head up, sniffing around. Do you smell something? What kind of something? I sniffed and smelled it too. Peanut butter! Robbie said triumphantly. He slopped the lemonade pitcher onto the table beside my backpack and got himself a glass. I have a nose for peanut butter. You had peanut butter for breakfast, right? You had a lot if the smell's still in the air. I opened the cupboard and looked at the jar that sat where it always sat. I haven't touched this in days, I said. Well, somebody has, Robbie said. What do you mean, somebody? I couldn't figure out why the least little word made me nervous now. Ever since the key. My brain kept telling me that there was nothing to be nervous about, but the rest of me was not getting the message. I tiptoed across to where the loaf was defrosting. Why are you walking like that? Robbie asked. Shh. One end of the loaf didn't look quite right. Had the wax paper wrapping been opened very carefully? Had bread been taken from the end and then someone closed it again, folding the wrapping exactly the same way? There was a gap with just air where 3 or 4 slices of bread should have been. I tried to remember if it had been tightly closed this morning. Sometimes Mom and I do take a few pieces for toast or something before we freeze a loaf. That could be it. Or maybe Nick had come in and borrowed some. Then he'd fixed himself a couple of peanut butter sandwiches. Want to bet he'd helped himself to the meatloaf, too? No wonder things were shrinking. Go right ahead, make yourself at home, Nick, I thought bitterly. Is everything okay? Robbie sounded semi-nervous himself. I guess it's catching. Sure. I threw the bread in the bread drawer. Good. For a minute there, you were acting weird. Hurry up, I said. I'm in a rush, you know. Robbie drained the last of the lemonade and burped. Robbie may be smooth at times, but he is the worst, wettest burp in the world.
Oh, gross.
I pushed him ahead of me into the living room, grabbed the packages, and took a last look around. He watched as I double-locked the front door. That was quick, Miss Sarah called over the hedge. I know. I slid the key in my pocket. Did you notice what time Nick left today, Miss Sarah? Nick? Oh, you mean your mother's friend. Before I could protest, she said, he left right after you did. He drives that car of his altogether too fast in the driveway. Did he just come down the steps, get in the car, and take off? Miss Sarah released the trigger on the end of the hose to stop the water entirely so that there was no noise and she could concentrate on this new development, whatever it was. What else would you expect him to do, Marcus? Nothing. He didn't come back? No. Why, Marcus? Her nose twitched. Miss Sarah has a rather long nose. When I was little, I'd ask Mom if that was why she sniffed so much. And Mom said, no, I must never, ever ask her that either. I'd like to know why you have all those questions about that young man, Marcus, she said. No reason. Bye, Miss Sarah. That Nick's getting out of hand coming into your house like that, Robbie said as we walked down the driveway. He's taking stuff, isn't he? I nodded. You should tell your mother. I'm going to. We parted on the sidewalk, me going east, Robbie west. I walked as quickly as I could. Of course it was Nick, and I should tell Mom. Paying tenants have no business taking over like that. Imagine him coming in and... I slowed. But when did he come in? My stomach was fluttering. It had to be Nick. Who else could it be?